Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. In this video, we will look at what a resolver is and how to build one step by step. We will also cover simple best practices to make your GraphQL API faster and cleaner. In this, first we'll discuss what is a resolver, and then we will discuss how to define a resolver, and then we'll discuss best practices for resolver. So let's discuss what is a resolver. In GraphQL, a resolver is a function that serves as an execution engine for your API. While the schema defines what data is available, the resolver is the actual code that fetches the data from the database or REST API or any other sources. Conceptually, you can think of a relationship like a restaurant between schema, query, and resolver. In this, schema is work as a menu. That means schema will define what you can order. In query, is just like a order what the customer actually wants, and resolver is act as a chef, the one who knows where the ingredient are and how to prepare the dish. So basically, resolver works a bridge between schema and queries and your data sources. It passes the data from data sources and formatted the way how the client wants. Before we proceed further, if you are new to my channel and new to this course, you are not aware about that where this code located. So this is the repository where I have checked in all the code for this course, and this is the data which we have used it. Basically, this country, continent, states, language are the JSON data which I have used it. We have discussed about what are the resolver. We'll try to discuss in more detail about their parameter and their uses. So resolvers are function that tells GraphQL how to fetch the data for each field in your schema. Every field in your GraphQL schema has corresponding resolver function. So resolver function used to have a parameters like parent, argument, context, and info. Parent represent the result of the parent field's resolver. Argument passed to the field, and context share context across the multiple resolver. Information about the current execution. Right. So we will try to understand it in more detail when we are going to write the actual resolver. We will try to understand further that how many types of resolver being categorized. So let me move to the first type of resolver is called root query resolver. So root query resolver handle the top level queries defined in GraphQL type. For example, here in our data, what we have considered the continent is the root level, top root level uh, uh, resolver, which basically give you the complete list of continents, right? So when a client runs GraphQL query, GraphQL looks the resolver with the same name as field in the GraphQL type. The root object contains resolver function for each field defined in the GraphQL type. Now, so what does it do? Resolvers resolve the country query, returns the continent record, does not take any argument. So if you see this resolver, this is the root resolver, right? It does not take any argument. It just returns all the continent. Basically, what we are going to do that when we are going to write the code, we are going to read the continent data from JSON and then we are going to just return it, right? Let's move to the next field resolver. So resolver field is resolve a field on a specific object type, not on query. This resolvers runs only when a field is requested and receive the parent object as first argument. First argument is parent object, that is continent for this example, and then used for nested data resolution, ideal for transforming enriching data. So here, if you see what we are doing, we are passing a continent code, and based on the continent code, we are returning the country's information for that particular continent. So in this, is called a field resolver because we are resolving or identifying all the countries for a given continent based on the continent code. Then computed field resolver. Computed field resolver, as name mentioned, basically it used to have a uh, dynamically fields which are not stored into data sets. For example, if you have a data source first name, last name being stored in any of the data, but if you want to get a additional attributes which is called full name by joining first name and last name with the spaces, this kind of dynamically computed column, when you are going to add it, those resolvers are known as computed field resolver. In this case, what we are doing it here, we are returning the number of countries. So number of countries for a given continents, right? You don't have any field which represent the number of countries for a continent, but this is a computed field, that's why it's called computed field resolver. Then relationship resolver, whenever you have a one to many relationship, let's say in our case we are having a parent child relationship where one kind of data has one to many relationship with other data object. In this case, continent has more than one uh, countries, this one to many. Then this queries are called relationship resolver, where you 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 basically get the continent, and then based on continent you will be able to get all the countries where continent code is that particular continent. Then search filter resolver. If you have attended my previous sessions, you can see that we have explained in more detail. Search resolver implement custom filtering logic. So in the previous session, we have shown you that how to search a, a free text search using a search filter, a resolver. And where what we have done it, we have defined a keyword which used to search in all the columns in that the complete data sources, like let's say continent, country, or states. So this kind of, if you see here, what happens right here in this, we are having a search string which we are getting pass it, and then what does it do? Basically, it used to find either country name or country capital is having that string. For example, if I pass Delhi and country is having Delhi in their name or in their capital, it will return all those data which match that particular string. In this example, we are just trying to find that uh, search key in only country and country name and capital, but you can add other objects, let's say state and other language and other objects which we are declaring there. So let's start coding. Before we proceed on coding, I hope you are aware about this folder structure, but I have been using from the episode one. If you are not aware about that, I would request you to go through the episode one and two. You will be able to understand. So here, all my GraphQL resolver schema and server, I have added a folder called GraphQL server. Inside that, I have added it. You can add it anywhere. Just to segregate it, I have added here, right? So if you see here in the resolver, I have not added any code. And in the schema, whatever I have explained into the episode 3, I have added it. If you are not aware about that, how to write the schema, I would recommend go to episode 3 and understand. So here I have added schema which contains the country, continent, language, state. Here queries are pending. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a simple root level query. This query will return all the continent. So I have added a query for returning a continent here, and then I have to write the resolver. So what I will do, I will add the code to get the resolver uh, for the getting all the continent, which will return all the continent from the continent JSON data. First, I will add the require libraries there so that we can refer it. So these two which required for me to read the data from the file, I will now read the continent data from the continents dot json file. To do that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a code to read the data from the continent dot json file, right, which is located to root folder of this course. Is folder name is called data. Inside that we are having a json data for continent. Now I have added the code to read the data from json. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to add the code for resolver. So I'm going to add a code for resolver which will basically return all this root label data for continent. uh, okay, so here what I have done it, I'm just returning a root label data. Okay, so if you see here, this is my root label query resolver, which basically returns all the data which we have read from the continent.json data, right? It does not perform any operation, it just returns the all the data which is there in continent.json without any filter, because it does not accept any argument, right? Then what we will do, we will export this resolver file name. This is root, because this constant we are defining root, we have a define here root, right? So we are done, but we have done it here. Just to quick summarize, I have added a queries called continent queries, and then I have defined a resolver which basically read the data from continent.json, right? And then I have this same code, but I have used it. I have used that schema and resolver, which are defined in the GraphQL folder, and then I am running the GraphQL server on 4000 port with the alias GraphQL. Now, what I will do, I will run it. I will run the server.js. So now it's running. Now, what we'll do, we can see it's running. What I will do, I will navigate to that particular page, and we will see that root label GraphQL resolver and queries are working fine or not. Now it's time to test it. So I have opened that port where this GraphQL is running. Since we have given 4000 port, is running on 4000 port. And then what I will do, I will write a query to get the continent name. We are able to, I need to write one more bracket here, and then so we are able to see here we are getting the continent name. Let me write one more attributes called code name and code, so we are able to see that. That means whatever query we have written, the root label resolver is working fine, is giving the result whatever is defined into the JSON data. Now what we will do, we will add one more resolver which will have the argument, fieldable argument, and then what we'll do, will all code added in the same resolver, and we will test it one by one. Okay, now we will add a different resolver and query which will give us the continent information based on the code which we are going to pass it. So first we are going to add a code in a schema, and here we are going to add continent by passing the code called string argument. So let me add one more query first here, and this query is basically going to return a continent information by passing the continent code. And then we have defined this query. Now we have to define the resolver. Inside the resolver, what we are going to do, that we are going to add a code for resolving that query. So I'm going to add a comma because it's a different query. I'm going to add it here, right? So here I am passing a continent code, and based on the continent code, I am filtering the data which is there in JSON data based on that continent code, and I'm returning a continent there. right? So we have done it. Now we will save this all, and then we will try to run it, right? So let me clear this, and then I will run it. So it's going to run it. Code is running. Now I will open the browser, and we will test this query is working fine or not. Okay, now we will test this whether it's working fine or not. So we are going to write a query which will take a argument of the continent code, and it should return the continent information. So I will delete this, and then I will add it and run it. We are able to see that if I pass AS, then it should give me Asia. That means it's working. Now we'll quickly check that the previous query is working fine or not. So we will put continents, and then we will type name. This is additional, so we will try to run it. It's working fine, and then I will write code. We can see it's working fine. So both the queries are working fine. That means this resolver, the root level and the field level resolver is working fine. Now what we will do, we will add all the code, and we will test all the type of resolver whether it's working fine or not. Okay, so what I have done it, I have added all the different queries which we have discussed. Let's say, countries by code, language by code, state and search, and then I have defined all the resolver like field level resolver, root level resolver, and then also we have a nested resolver also. So all we have added it, and then I have run this code. Now we will verify a couple of them. To understand more, you can just take this code, run it locally, you will be able to understand. So we will try to test it, few of them, and then we will bind up this call. So it's running. Let me. Okay, now I have opened the local host URL where the GraphQL server is running. Now what we will do, we will try to run by one by one query, and we'll try to test it. So let's go there, and we will go from top, and we will try first the root query resolver, and then I will add it here and run it. We are able to get it. There's continent information, that is root level information. We are able to get it. Good. Now we will test field level resolver. Let's copy it, and we'll try to see that field level resolver is working fine or not. Okay, so it's working fine. We have a continent, we have a name, and based on the name field, we are resolving this. All these countries is working fine. And then computed, where we are having a country count, is the field which is computed field. Let's try it is working fine or not. Yeah, it's working. So for each continent, we are able to see that it's a total country count is displaying. Now we will see relationship resolver. We'll copy it, and we'll try to see it's working fine or not. It's working. So you can see that here is a relationship resolver for a country. We are trying to get a continent, and we are able to get United States is having the continent as a North America. And then we will see search resolver, where it will search into the country name and capital, and then we'll search it. Let's say type India and search it. We are able to see that it's coming. Thanks for watching this episode. I hope it will help you to understand the GraphQL resolver. If yes, please add your suggestion and comments. Thanks for watching.